Summary of Bite the Terror That Feeds, written by Penelope Barsetti. Chapter 1. Larissa's world had shrunk to the four walls of her room. The balcony, once a source of solace under the sun, now stood closed and locked. She felt imprisoned, cut off from the outside world. Just a week ago, she had been entangled in a passionate relationship that had led her into battle, a beautiful man by her side. Now, it all seemed like a distant dream, and she wondered if she had ever truly left the confines of this room. A heavy silence filled the air as a week passed, without Larissa uttering a single word to anyone. Fong, the one she longed to see, didn't come to visit. Meals were slid under the door 3 times a day, a stark reminder of her isolation. The heartbreak after another betrayal had brought her back to the starting point. Loneliness gnawed at Larissa's mind, prompting her to leave the bed and knock loudly on the door. "I want to see Fong," she declared to the guards positioned on the other side, vigilant to ensure her isolation. There was no immediate response, but soon, a part of the door used for delivering food lifted, and a snake slithered into her chambers. It moved deliberately, taking a full minute to pass through due to its length. Larissa and the snake found themselves sitting together in the seating area, a coffee table between them. Desiring companionship, Larissa was unsure of what to say now that they were together. The snake broke the silence, looking at the cards on the table. "Been practicing?" "Not that it will make a difference," Larissa replied with a quiet chuckle. The snake used its tail to gather and shuffle the cards before dealing them between them. As they played in silence, the snake, as always, outplayed Larissa. In a rare moment of vulnerability, she asked, "Are you okay?" Larissa shrugged. "Why haven't you come to visit me?" Fong's response was somber. "I assumed you didn't want to see me." "Why wouldn't I?" "Well, I knew." "The whole time?" "A few days before." "I'm not mad at you, Fong. You're the only friend I've ever really had." His eyes dropped in sadness. "He's unwell. All he does is drink all day." "Didn't he do that before?" "He used to be with you all day." Fong explained, "He's sad. He's weak." Larissa, harboring no pity, retorted, "That's not my problem." "What about in another week?" "It'll never be my problem again." The snake warned, "If he hits starvation, he'll have no choice but to feed on someone else. Better them than me." "I don't think you mean that." "I do," Larissa asserted as she shuffled the cards again. "You need to help me get out of here." Fong's gaze intensified. "I've tried breaking out of the balcony, didn't work. And that door is rock solid. You aren't going to help me." "I don't think it would be in your best interest." "And you think this is?" Larissa gestured around the room. "Even if you stole a horse from the stables, he would be right behind you. And if you managed to lose Kingsnake, that would be worse because you wouldn't survive out there alone. And if you made it back to Raven Tower, the Ethereal would soon discover your whereabouts and would march on your city and burn it until they found you." Depression settled over Larissa. "So what are you saying? I should just give up?" "You don't have any other option, that's what I'm saying." "So I just live in this cage until I die? Forgive Kingsnake. Take him back." "Yeah, right. I know you miss him." "I don't, Fong. I never should have trusted him." Fong was quiet for a while. "From my understanding, he's the only man you can trust. He's protected you from the Ethereal with the blood of his own people. He knows he's the only thing keeping you alive. He doesn't protect me because he cares for me. He's protecting his own self-interest, and you know that. By that logic, he's your true ally. The Ethereal want you dead, he does not." I shook my head. "You can't return to Raven Tower. You can't travel to any of the kingdoms, because the Ethereal control them. If you let me go, I could find the golden serpents. You're upset because this relationship was as personal to you as it was to him. We spoke of his dilemma, and trust me, it was a heavy burden. Find it in your heart to forgive him." "No." Fong stared at her, his head perfectly still. "I'm so tired of men stabbing me in the back. I'm tired of them being nothing but a disappointment. Fong studied her. I'm sorry someone broke your heart. Thanks. Who was it? Nobody, Larissa said. Fucking nobody. Chapter 2. In the dimly lit study, Kingsnake sat surrounded by the remnants of a week-long drinking binge, an empty glass, and a full decanter his only company. A persistent headache lurked behind his eyes, a relentless reminder of the withdrawals that had begun after just a week without feeding. The strength he had grown accustomed to was slowly draining from his veins, leaving a hollow shell in its wake. Viper, his advisor, entered the room without ceremony. Kingsnake lacked the energy for a greeting, and Viper took a seat across from him, concern etched on his face. You need to feed, Kingsnake, Viper urged. She made her desires perfectly clear, Kingsnake replied, referring to Larissa, his love interest. Not on her, Viper insisted. The city had been ravaged, and Kingsnake's people had prisoners and surviving enthusiasts, potential sources of sustenance for the starving vampire king. However, Kingsnake hesitated, reluctant to bite someone other than Larissa, the one he desired most. What happened with the orcs and goblins? Kingsnake changed the subject, diverting Viper's attention. They've migrated elsewhere in the mountains. I couldn't find them, Viper responded, frustration evident in his voice. Even the goblins? They've all fled. They obviously had an escape contingency. Kingsnake dismissed the threat, focusing on his internal struggle. Their numbers have been decimated. They're no threat to us anymore. Doesn't matter. But that's not the point, is it? Viper's eyes flashed with anger. You don't betray your allies without consequences. Unwilling to engage further in that discussion, Kingsnake urged Viper to let it go. The advisor, still frustrated, poured himself a drink and exited the room. As the city recovered from the recent battles, Kingsnake found himself without purpose. The looming return of the ethereal, coupled with the impossibility of finding a cure for his vampiric condition, left him adrift. Fong, another ally, entered the study. His serpent-like form slithered into an armchair, and he urged Viper to leave so he could speak with Kingsnake in private. Make him feed. He looks like shit, Viper grumbled as he exited. Ignoring Viper's suggestion, Kingsnake inquired about Fong's intentions. The serpent creature insisted that Kingsnake needed to speak with Larissa, emphasizing her need for his company. She wants nothing from me, Kingsnake retorted. But she needs it, Fong hissed. Reluctantly, Kingsnake approached Larissa's quarters. Knocking on the door, he entered to find her on the couch with an open book. Tension filled the room as they locked eyes. I miss you, Kingsnake confessed, the words escaping before he could stop them. Memories of their shared experiences flooded his mind, and the loneliness he felt without her became palpable. Why are you here? Larissa asked, her surprise morphing into anger. Join me for dinner, Kingsnake pleaded. Her refusal was immediate, and the atmosphere grew more tense. Kingsnake, unable to resist the allure of her presence, moved to a chair across from her. I miss you, he repeated, hoping to bridge the emotional gap that had formed between them. Her anger remained, and she rejected his advances. The conversation turned to the painful past, and Kingsnake assured her that he wouldn't feed on anyone else, emphasizing the unique connection they shared. You're manipulating me, again, Larissa accused. The revelation stung Kingsnake, and he vehemently denied it. Their conversation delved into the complexities of their relationship, Larissa revealing a past betrayal that had left her scarred. I was a maid in the castle. We exchanged looks. Exchanged whispers. And then, it became something more, Larissa confessed, her voice filled with pain. Kingsnake listened in silence as Larissa recounted a clandestine affair with a man who ultimately betrayed her for political reasons. The revelation deepened Kingsnake's understanding of Larissa's past and fueled his determination not to repeat the same mistakes. As the conversation unfolded, Larissa expressed her doubt about their future together. Kingsnake pleaded for a chance to live in the present, but Larissa remained resolute. There is no future for us. But there's now. Let that be enough, she declared. Heartbroken, Kingsnake could only watch as Larissa rejected any possibility of reconciliation. The room fell into silence, each word echoing the pain of a fractured relationship. No, Larissa finally stated, her rejection plunging Kingsnake into a profound sense of loss. The air hung heavy with unspoken words as Larissa's refusal reverberated in the room. Kingsnake's heart ached, a potent mix of regret and longing coursing through his veins. He had hoped for a different outcome, a chance to rebuild what had been broken. The silence stretched, and finally, Kingsnake found his voice. "Give us a chance to have a future." "What kind?" Larissa snapped back. "The kind where I spend the remainder of my youth on a man who will never age. Watch you slowly lose your attraction to me until you replace me with someone else. Or the kind where I forsake my immortal soul, only to watch you not want me anymore, because my blood is useless? Tell me, Kingsnake. How does this work?" Kingsnake was quiet, grappling with the weight of her words. She had laid bare the insecurities and fears that had festered within her. It was a painful revelation, and for the first time, he saw the depth of her internal struggles. "I know what you're doing," Larissa continued, her tone sharp and accusatory. Kingsnake's eyes narrowed. "You're manipulating me, again." The accusation felt like a slap in the face. "I'm not manipulating you, Larissa. You're trying to get me to let you feed. I'm trying to get you to understand my commitment to you. I'm sorry, I broke my promise to you, but I won't break my fidelity." "We aren't together," Larissa started, but Kingsnake cut her off. "Yes, we are." She looked angry, her brows furrowed in frustration. "If I fed on someone else, you know it would hurt. Don't pretend it wouldn't. You're a vampire. This is what you do, feed on people. I take no offense. It was a lot more with us, and you know it." Kingsnake's voice softened. She could try to rewrite history, but she couldn't rewrite his memories. "So I'll wait, until I have no other choice." Larissa wouldn't look at him, fixing her gaze on a random spot on the wall. The tension in the room hung thick, and Kingsnake refilled his glass, taking a moment to collect his thoughts. "What did he do to you?" The question slipped out, a probing inquiry that he knew he should have kept to himself. Larissa's gaze moved back to his, and the color that rose in her cheeks betrayed her discomfort. Her eyes flinched back and forth, a hesitation in the air as if she debated whether to share the painful